I got served up with one of the kids who was with us, Dave, Asian kid, and he's come in. I was gobsmacked he was nicked, and like they put him in, he's going, "You all right?" Yeah, he's going, "Sam, yeah." He said, "Am I all right in here?" I went, "Yeah, yeah." I said, "Look, who do you want to be while you're in here, mummy or daddy?" And he went, "What do you mean?" I went, "Well, who do you want to be, fucking mummy or daddy?" He went, "Daddy." He went, "Sam, get over here and suck mummy's cock." Because don't get me wrong, this world's full of snakes.
Yeah.
It is full of snakes, and you grow up with the people who you will trust. You'll meet acquaintances along the way who just want a little bit of what you're doing. Do you know what I mean? But fully, wholly, totally honest on your heart, they're not there.
I don't even know this guy, but he's a legend.
Have you never seen Purple Aki?
No.
Have you never seen him? He's all right, Aki, though.
Were you in jail with Aki at the same time?
Yeah.
Is he local as well?
Look, you don't put purple and it comes up Purple Aki. That's how fucking well known he is.
Oh, he's a big lad, mind.
He's about fucking 7 foot.
Jesus.
He's about 7 foot tall, about 7 foot wide, but he fucking terrorises people.
That's what Nathan Gash has said.
Yeah, I was going to say, he's always got a plastic bag with him, look.
What's he keeping it?
He's just fucking mental, mate.
Pack lunch.
Oh.
Because I couldn't understand why all them big riders were letting him do that stuff, and then it's when Nathan said it's because he's hard as fuck.
Oh, is he hard?
He's just a hard fella.
He sounds like if he's that big as well, eh?
Do you know what? He's never been. I've always liked Aki. He sounds, and he's a fucking intelligent fella.
Right.
He's pretty intelligent. Like.
Were you not telling me? Is his dad a barrister or something like that?
I
think his dad might be an MP or something, but he's high up in I don't know whether it's fucking Nigeria or somewhere like that, but he is. Right. He's pretty high up, like.
Do they bring up the son's activities at dinners and stuff? I can imagine he's a bit of a black sheep.
Fixation with muscles, hasn't he?
So what does he do? He got banned out because a lot of the rugby lads from down there, everyone knows him, don't they? Was he just getting banned out of spots?
Yeah.
Because he'd be like in Wigan for a bit and then St Helens and Liverpool.
Yeah, but he'll stalk them and just say, "Go on, let's feel your muscles. Go on." Oh.
Some people have that though, don't they? When you were doing,
he used to say to us, "Look, you like smoking weed." He went, "I like smoking, touching muscles." That's what he used to say to us in jail. We were all big lads in there, you know what I mean? He'd go on, just a little one. He'd go.
He'd be after me.
I doubt it.
You're all right.
You haven't seen me 6-pack.
Why do you still drink?
It's a weird fetish, like, isn't it?
How long was he in jail for? Because
he's been in and out. He's been in and out for years, hasn't he?
What does he get arrested for? Is it just because he squeezed muscles? So if people ring up the police, or is it someone else?
Yeah, just people ring up the police and tell them that he's actually stalking me.
Jesus. What would you do if you're in the gym and someone come up and just started?
He would take you by surprise.
Ask you first. He'd be polite and ask you first.
Oh, does he?
Oh, yeah, he'd ask you what you bench. He starts with a few little questions like that. He goes, "Oh, yeah. Hey, it's good, that, isn't it? Can you just tempt them?" And he's got you like that there.
And then it's like doing all the poses and that, aren't they?
Well, Nathan said some people in jail didn't know that he liked that sort of thing, so they just assumed the fellow was interested in their body and stuff like that, and he said they'll regret that.
Oh, yeah. Like, you get people going in there messing all the time, like getting the muscles out and all that, thinking that's only a laugh. And then, like, overnight, you just see your fucking eyes staring at you. And all it is get your fucking muscles out.
Because you were massive at the time as well. I've seen some old photos, you were fucking doing the weight and stuff like that. Were you worried with?
I was had that much fucking steroids in me, mate. I had loads. I used to take steroids all the time, didn't I?
Because what weight were you then? Because you were like...
Anything from 15, 16, 17, 18, just depends on what you were taking and stuff at the time.
What time of life is this? Late 90s or early 2000s?
Yeah. Yeah,
because there wasn't much known about steroids then. Because when we first started going to the gym, it was just put whatever you get in you. Wasn't like, "Oh, take Deca, take this," and whereas now I feel like we know a little bit more.
Yeah, at that time it was more like Sustanol and Deca. They were the two that used to go together to make you big, and then obviously growth hormone come out. And then
growth hormone. Always tell when people's on growth hormone.
Okay, you only need to look at the likes of what's his name, Mickey Blue Eyes, Mickey O'Rourke. You can see the way the faces are changing and stuff.
Yeah,
because it makes your bones grow.
Oh, does it?
Yeah, so that's what Messi and that used to have. So it's for like small people. So growth hormone was it makes you carry on growing.
I could do with some of that.
Because some of the women who do it are the same. They get like bigger jaws, don't they? And
yeah,
stuff
there's
like
loads, but it's good for your body as well, because I think by the time you get to 20, 21, is that your pituitary gland it stops. That's when it all stops.
Ah, right.
And then obviously you carry on taking it, and your bones, your hands, all your system starts growing.
Did you get massive before you went in jail? Because I can imagine, I don't know if you've seen that film with Will Ferrell, Get Hard, where he's like trying to get hard before he goes in and gets massive. And imagine, like, if I was going to jail, I'd be doing jiu-jitsu, I'd be massive. Or
You don't know you're going to jail, do you? You know it's going to happen one day, but until it happens, you really don't know. People used to say to me, why do you on the juice? I mean, because I couldn't knock at someone's fucking door 10 stone wet and ask them for me money, could I? I said, but while I was on the juice and big, you just fucking go through it.
Would you not have people to do that though as well?
But you would, but sometimes you have to still get involved yourself, don't you?
Yeah, you've got to have that, I suppose, to be intimidated. To intimidate.
But the thing is, if you're working with us, then obviously you see someone big, you don't know whether they can fight or what, but you're just thinking, fuck that. Look, Père Blackie comes out, your first thing you go is, fuck that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because you don't really know them, you just see this size, don't you?
is it hard finding people to work for you like that? Because I can imagine a lot of people will act hard, but when it actually push comes to shove, you've got to knock on the door.
Nah, because you know what, you've got mates who you grow up with, and there's comes certain parts in life when people take different ways, and then half of your mates, if they're working with you and they're close by you, then you work together and do whatever you've got to do.
Well, I seen Lado, that Deadly's Deck Collector. I don't know if you've seen that.
Who's that?
He's from Warrington. I can't think what his name.
Sean.
Sean, well, he was saying, like, when he first went on a job, they'd, like, they get this guy, and they said they'd give him a hide, and he wasn't paying, and then they got a photo of someone bumming him to get the money out, and he said it was something he wasn't expecting. He said that was how they got it out, because you could batter him all day long, he'd just take the hidings, but he wouldn't want that photograph getting out.
Well, in America, that's just what they do normally in jails, isn't it? And the jails over there are just sick. But yeah, I know Sean. His two twin brothers were my best mates in school.
Right.
So I've known Sean for years. I haven't seen Sean for God must be 20 years or something. But I've seen a programme with him on, and you know what, I like Sean. He's always been sound.
He comes across like a nice fellow, I think, on it. Obviously, he's doing a job that's absolutely insane, but he seems like a decent bloke, because he looks after people around him, doesn't he?
Yeah. But that's the thing. If you've got close people around you, then they're the ones you'll always know are loyal around you as well. Because don't get me wrong, this world's full of snakes.
Yeah.
It is full of snakes, and you grow up with the people who you will trust. You'll meet acquaintances along the way who just want a little bit of what you're doing. Do you know what I mean? But fully, wholly, totally honest on your heart, they're not there.
Well, that's the thing with doing the drugs from different countries. We were talking about this on the way down. Like, if we had to get some drugs from Colombia, you're taking a risk with meeting someone over there. Right? You know what I mean? Like, you don't know them, you haven't grew up with them. These people around here, you can tell, well, he'll be all right. But when you go to a different country, like, because you set that all up, didn't you? Like, how do you get acquaintances like that?
Do you know what? It's like, you just network, don't you?
Yeah.
And, like when I was doing the ciggies, it just fell on my lap. I ended up going from someone just earning $1,000 a day doing stuff to taking over the full hit on it. And I think at the time we were bringing about 400 grand's worth of ciggies a day, 5 days a week. So the first one we got was in Barnsley, and I think by the time I'd finished it, I think it was about 360, 70 grand. I fucking had to count all that in a fucking hotel room on my own. It took me about fucking 9 hours.
Fingers will stink by the end of that.
And I done all that, and just obviously started getting money machines, but then in certain places you go for money machines, you have to have ID. So all this stuff, you just have to get round to get your money machines, and then you can churn money out every day, can't you?
What do you do with that sort of cash? Because if you're doing that quite regular, like, you're going to end up with like a house full of cash, aren't you? Like, do you just have to start buying cash assets, you like cars?
Then you could. So in the late 90s, you could go and spend 40 grand on a card, no one would bat an eyelid.
Yeah. You
try and do it now, fucking hell, you end up in jail for money laundering and everything.
Even your mortgage, you've got to have proof of funds, haven't you? Where's it come from? And I'm guessing that's why it's all come round about, isn't it?
Yeah, and it's like now, I think if you go in the bank with any more than 2 grand or something, and you have to
what's it for? You've got to justify why.
Isn't it great how your money goes in the bank, but then you've got to justify it? No, what I mean? It's like, why can't I have my money out cash and do whatever I fucking want with it?
Yeah.
But this is the way the world is, that everything now, look, our country's built on money. You know what I mean? A kilo of cocaine is worth more in jail than a 2-year-old abused, raped child. So you look at things like that and you think, what's going on in the world. But then all it comes down to is proceeds of crimes. You've been nicked for drugs, there comes money. And that's where they get you. Look, there's police going in houses now, busting houses, getting drugs, taking drug deals, but they're taking babies' clothes, all named clothes from babies, kids, adults, boxes of shoes, Hugo Boss, Montclair. They take everything out there.
Because they
Even with no evidence,
they've got them.
Look, the first thing you do when you've come from a council estate, or you come from somewhere where you've never had money, if someone gives you 10 or 20 grand in your hands for doing a job, what's the first thing you want to do with it?
It's always buy a car, isn't it, normally?
And then what makes you buy a car that makes you look better than new clothes?
I'd get my teeth done.
Yeah, I was going to say, if you want, I'll try and fucking get on crowdfunding for you. That's the first thing I do when I come out of jail in 05. Yeah, because what happened, right, is I had toothache a lot while I was in prison. And you don't get root canals when you're in there. You know, oh yeah, I've just got a hole here, can I get a root canal? You can have that. So they'll just take, I think it's got 4 or 5 took out. And then as soon as I got out, I got my teeth done. I got them done, and that was, 17 years ago?
Christ. Everyone's doing it now, it's all the trend, isn't it?
Yeah, but fucking help me. They look fucking real, they don't look like teeth, yeah.
What's jail like in England? Because you've got like variations. You've got like Porridge, the TV show, where it looks a laugh. And then you have like shot call, and that way you're like, oh, you've got to go with your own race, and like you're going to get shanked in the show. What is it like in between?
So shot call is American, isn't it?
Yeah,
That Vince Vaughn, isn't it?
No, not that one. That's Cell Block H or whatever it was. That shot call is one way you go.
Cell Block H, that was fucking vinegar tits. You're blowing yourself up at your ass. You used to sit there watching Cell Block H.
Oh, that was the women's.
I was Cell Block Summit. It's Vince Vaughn.
Vinegar tits.
Because he kicks someone's head off, Vince Vaughn.
Them Australians like to give you a question and an answer, don't they? Go, what's your favourite colour? Blue. What's your wife's name? Sheila. What's your job? Digger.
What was it called? It was shot call was lad off Game of Thrones.
I don't.
It was like gets to the top of the tree where
it's a good movie
to make your way up and hide stuff up.
The English one, is it?
No, it's an American one.
Oh, yeah.
But like you say, the English one, some of them documentaries where you look at it and think, Jesus, because you were cat here, weren't you? So you're in there.
Yeah, but you see prison now, like 20, 25 years ago, the sentences you're getting now, you would never have got 25 years ago. And we always said that the prisons are going like American prisons. Now, all the new prisons are built on American prisons.
Right.
So all your new prisons that are getting built round, they're basically built the same as the American prisons. But if you've noticed, sentences are going up all the time. I can remember when I was like in my teens, if someone got shot, you'd be looking at a 12 or a 14. You're looking at 30, 35 to 40 now. So you can see the difference in it. And like, look at America. You could go in as a 40-year-old man, get lifed off, 9 life sentences. You've got 150 years. You're 40, but you can call parole in 99 years. So that doesn't make sense to me.
No.
So you're going for parole in like when you're 130 odd. So it just doesn't make sense. If you get lifed off, you get lifed off.
Why do you think that is though? Is it because people want harsher sentences?
Yeah.
Or, it's simple as that. But, depending on the crime.
I know lads now who've all been caught who are getting 30, 35 years for drugs. It's never been heard of.
I'm sure I've read things as well, that the longer the sentence, the more likely as well when they come out, because of, you know better than me, but you're part of the culture, you're part of the environment, then it becomes your life, especially over long sentences like that. You come out and you're a repeat offender straight away because, you miss the place, you don't know the outside world.
You've gone in as an 18-year-old and you're coming out as 30, you're still in that mentality as an 18-year-old because you don't know what you're coming out to. Whereas when you're a bit older, it's not too bad. Like me, I ended up with a 12, but I had to do half of that. But I still come out after 6 years and my head was up the fucking wall.
Oh, I bet. It changes that fast, doesn't it, outside these days?
Coming back to Liverpool and seeing how Liverpool had changed in 6 years was just madness because there was buildings up everywhere.
Yeah.
And you used to walk past place going, I remember that was flats there or that was that there and then something else is there now.
Yeah, because you're not seeing it every day.
I bet your sentence wasn't done in Liverpool, though, was it? Was it Isle Sheppey or something? Or miles away, wasn't it?
No,
Cornwall.
what happened with mine is, I was arrested in Liverpool. So I was arrested in Liverpool, and then because I went in the Cat A unit, from the Cat A unit I went to Garth, which is a high security Cat B.
Right.
And then from there I wanted to go to like Haverick.
Up in Midland?
Yeah,
Ah,
yeah. So I wanted to go to Haverick or Lindholm. And then obviously I found out that there was a ban on me in the Northwest and they wanted me out of the Northwest. They just said they had too much influence on drugs, cons and prison officers. And then they sent me down to Wolverhampton. And then from Wolverhampton, they said I could only go to any Cat D below sort of Sudbury. Now, Sudbury was a bit of an older jail. It was twoed up. And then I'd done my homework on a few places, and then I found Stamford Hill, which is probably the best run Cat D in the country. I wanted to get in there, work out, and get out of jail every day and go and do me job. And so I picked there. But then when I got there, they didn't allow me out for 9 months. And then I found out then I was on another ban in there.
So you're allowed to pick though, because I'm amazed by that.
It's not that you're allowed to pick. They just
You can have your preference.
So they just said to me, look, you can't go anywhere in the Northwest, so it's anywhere below here. So the only places for me was Prescoid, or Stamford Hill, because you had Spring Hill and stuff. But I just done my own work and said, look, I'll go and do it in Stamford Hill.
Right.
Because I thought I'd get there 3 months, I'll be able to work out, I'll get a car, I'll be able to get my home leaves, go back home and stuff like that, but it just didn't work out like that. It took me 9 months, but even before. I ended up going in hospital when I was in prison.
Right.
And while I was in hospital, I still hadn't had a rottle, which is released on temporary licence. So I had to have a screw with me. And then I had a screw with me, and he's come back in the night time. He went, look, he said, they're keeping you in anyway, they've got to do scans. He went, we're quite happy leaving you on your own, he said, to do your own licences and stuff. So I stayed in there for about 15 days. When I come out, every day I went, when I was well enough, I got out of bed, I went down, done my licences at the reception downstairs, and then went back up. As soon as that finished, I went back to prison, and they said, look, you've been in there for 2.5 weeks or something, you could have gone, you haven't, you've done your licence. He went, phone your family, he said, we're letting you out on Saturday. And then they let me come out then round London. And then when I've got back from London, there was a big commotion. And I was like, what's going on? They went, where have you been? I went, I told you I've been in London with my kids. Yeah, no, we can't allow that no more. You can go in. They ended up putting me in Westfields in Stratford. So every town visit, every 2 weeks I had to go to Westfields in Stratford. And then you try staying in there for 8 hours a day to be boring, innit? When you've had a Nando's, you've had everything else, you're fat as fuck. You know what I mean? And your kids have got to travel another 6 hours home. All you want to do is get back to your pad, innit? Know what I mean?
I can't imagine.
Jail's funny. Jail's
well, it goes back to your original question, doesn't it? Is it scary? Or
it can be scary for people who are not ready for it. But look, it's like being us, be sitting in jail. It's like us sitting in a pad now, just having a coffee and that's all, yeah. Look, when the pads get shut at like 6 or 7 o'clock in the night, then obviously things change, don't they? That's when you start getting into thinking mode overtime.
Yeah.
You know, before 2000, you had to piss and shit in a bucket. You know what I mean? Then obviously after 2000, toilets started coming in, television started coming in. So before 2000, that was hard jail. Whereas now, people have got, people say, oh, you've got PlayStations in there. Fucking hell, you've got a PlayStation 2. You can't even buy a fucking game for it now. Do you know what I mean? So this is like, people think you've got, you know, like Freeview. When we got our new tellies, I think in about 2013, you know, we hooked a bit of aerial up to the metal windows and it gave you the Freeview. But people don't want you having Freeview. It's Freeview for a reason. It's fucking free.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But then in some of the jails, you used to only have 10 tellies, and then in the private ones, you used to have Sky and all that in them. Jeez. So then everything just got scrapped and you just had your normal channels in there.
Must be an appeal for some people too, going to jail.
But you know, you've got to look at it this way. You see, for people who are out there who haven't got a pot to piss in or nowhere to live, then the best place...
Especially these days.
Yeah, and the best place where people go is jail. I had lads dropping bags off at my pad at like 8 in the morning. Said, keep hold of that for us for a day or two. So what for? I said, you fucking going home? He says, I know, I'll be back in. So he used to go out, get the little 47 quid, go down to the town, get pissed, have a little bunk up with a bird or something like that, and then just go in the pub and just pick someone and punch him.
Get right back in.
So that's why they come back in. They come back in. I say, what the fuck are you doing? Like one fella, Dave, he was sound. He had he was an alcoholic. And while he kept him in for so long, he'd been off the booze and all that. And I said, so what's your first day? They're going to be like Dave. He went, just go out, get pissed, punch someone, I'll come back in.
Could you drink?
I was going to say, is there drugs in that in there? Because then, like, all document, isn't that like smoking drugs?
What you've got to remember, right, is you've got screws who are basically like the police inside the prison. And then you've got cons. So it's a cat and mouse game. It's like Tom and Jerry. It's for us to get drugs in at the time and for them to try and stop us. You know what I mean? There's a legendary fella, they call him Parcel Pete. He was a screw everywhere he used to go. Fuck, he used to find parcels anyway. But look, you see them getting flung in and catapults. You get them
drones.
I was in Walton one night. We're all sitting in the yard. I've seen this thing coming over and the yard's full and it's just going, rah, split the lad's head open, put him a kick and then about 15 lads all piled around him and they just walked away. It's like a bar of weed. So it's 9 ounces of Rocky. Comes up from a good height and hits you in the head. It's splitting your head open and it's giving you a naughty scar. You know what I mean? You must imagine going into the visit room and it goes, what happened? Oh, I had to fight. No, I got knocked out by a bar of Rocky. Well, yeah, loads of stuff happening like that.
Oh, man.
But, you know, you get like you'd have people going out and coming back in 2 days later with loads of weed stuck in their arse.
Do they not check it?
Where?
Like their ass?
They can't. They can't really check up you, can they? They're not allowed to put anything in your hoop or nothing.
Right.
It's only Aki.
Tell him the story about Aki as well, like you told us on the phone.
Yeah, we was in Walton and we were on B-Wing and the showers were all getting refurbished, on the wing. So they brought like a unit like this, like a modular unit, and put it in the yard. And it was like 12 showers in there. And like you'd get that out, for your yard and to go and get your shower and stuff. And they've only put fucking Purple Aki in there as the shower orderly, haven't they? So I'm giggling to myself. Everyone's like walking in and seeing Aki going, what's going on here? I said, he's all right. And like, used to have a laugh with Aki and like, he'd be touching your muscles or we knew, so he'd have a laugh with him. But people who didn't know were fucking terrified of him. And then like, you'd nod at Aki and there'd be someone next to you and then you'd hear the soap fall on the floor. And then you'd see the lad look like that and then they look behind and go, can you pass me that soap, please? And you go, and down. Yeah, we used to have lads like who'd be coming out of the gym who were pretty big lads and they were coming in and they were all doing stances and he's like, he's just got a fetish with muscles, Aki, he always has. But, years ago, he's fighting the life out of anyone.
Oh,
but he's a very, very intelligent guy. And anything about law, he will tell you anything about law. He knows law inside out. You know what I mean? But he just likes muscles. You know what I mean? I thought like when you go to see the Crabman and he's got a box of muscles, I thought he was on about them muscles, but seriously, he just likes muscles. That's why I come off the steroids. Thought, fuck that. I've been in chasing there.
Yeah. Then you go on in and try to keep in shape. Yeah. You go on in
years ago,
I have seconds on that?
Yeah. Years ago when we were kids and there was no mobile phones and stuff and he used to walk up and down like Walton or County Road or Vauxhall Road. Oh, you'd know Aki was there. Everyone would be terrified because he was huge.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And because Aki's really, he's jet black. And all you'd see him coming is like a tracky top. He'd have a quickie bag. He'd always carry a white quickie bag.
What's he got in that carry bag? Because you never see him in a photograph without that carry bag.
He always got it. I don't know why he carries and they've never chance to stay long enough. When he's been in prison, he never had to carry a bag, so I tried to stay away from him outside.
Bars or so.
But he's just, what, it's a myth. It's a myth that a lot of people think he's something that he's not, and there's rumours going around that he's done this, he's done that, and you know what, truthfully and honestly, I've never known him to do anything other than, terrorise people with big muscles.
Well, a lot of the rugby lads, like the St Helens and Wigan lads, have all got stories because obviously they're big lads and he'll say, I'll come to your house and they're like,
come and stand outside there. He couldn't stand outside. He got asbos from them all, didn't he?
Yeah.
So he couldn't be anywhere around them.
What is this all like the St Helens and
St Helens rugby team.
all the players?
The Wigan rugby team.
He must be a brave guy as well, because I know he's a big fella, but some of these lads will be.
I've seen 10 people kick the shit out of Aki.
Right.
I've seen them just get up and walk away. I've seen him be whacked with bats. I've seen him get up and walk away.
Just a sponge.
He's about 7 foot tall and about 7 foot wide. That's what he was like when we were kids.
Christ.
Do you know what I mean? Now, there was a thing, I was watching The Chase the other week, and it come up, what colour is the fruit? Aki. And it come up, purple Aki, and you know when you see it on there, it starts going down. I don't know what's down there.
Hear that on social media.
But yeah, he's legendary like that, but,
Yeah.
you know, I thought he was alright. I've always got on with him. You know what I mean? Don't get me wrong, I wouldn't want to be tuned up in the same pads with him, like, but...
And what happens to someone who's in the back? Like, did he have to share a cell with someone?
In some cases you do, yeah.
Jesus.
Oh, do you not all the time then?
No, not all the time. If you're high risk, you've got to have a pad on your own.
Oh, right.
You know what I mean? If you as soon as you go in, you get tubed up with someone. I got tubed up with one of the kids who was with us, Dave, Asian kid, and he's come in. I was gobsmacked. He was nicked, and like they put him in. He's going, "You all right? Yeah." He's going, "Sam, yeah." He said, "Am I all right in here?" I went, "Yeah." I said, "Look, who do you want to be while you're in here, mummy or daddy?" And he went, "What do you mean?" I went, "Well, who do you want to be, fucking mummy or daddy?" He went, "Daddy." He went, "Sam, get over here and suck mummy's cock." But then, like, you'd hear him crying, you know, when CBBS and stuff was on. I go, "What's up?" He'd go, "Me kids." But, you know, it's one of them. You've just got to make it. You've just got to make it good there, haven't you?
Yeah.
You know, once that hammer goes down and you know what you're getting, you've just got to get your heads around it. It's like one of my mates, I was on the Cat A unit with him, he got 35 years. So I'd started basically the same time as him. And then I've got out, I've been out a few years, and I'd spoken to him in a letter, sent him a letter back, and, you know, he said, "Can't believe it." He said, "Well, we've got 25 years left." I was like, fucking hell.
It's a lifetime.
Yeah.
What would you do if you
You
were
won't want to
in?
look at that end point. It's like anything else. You just day by day. I think it'd be better.
But you know when you're in that thing that you've got 35 years, you wouldn't give a fuck. You wouldn't give a fuck about anything or anyone in there.
You're going to lose something out in yourself. You've got to.
Do the sex offenders on that Cat A, are they the ones there? Because I know, like,
They don't. They segregate them. Segregate them. They wouldn't put VPs with normal prisoners. It ain't going to happen. Like, I think when I went on the Cat A unit, I goes into strange ways. I've been locked in the block in Walton for probably about 15, 16 days. I'm supposed to only be there for 3 days, waiting to be potential Cat A or not. And if I'm not, I go back on the wings. If I'm potential Cat A, they send me to strange ways. So I think by the time the Home Office and everything made the decision, it was like 14, 15, 16 days. But when you're stuck in there, you can't remember. I was in a room probably like this, shit all over the walls. Toilet like you wouldn't fucking see. I had a concrete bed with a little tiny mattress in the middle of January. It was fucking freezing in the basement. And I couldn't get out. I couldn't speak to my family. I couldn't speak to my solicitor. I couldn't interact with prisoners. You know, I had to come out for 20 minutes walk of a night time when the jail was shut in a cage at the end of the wing. And it was just stuff like that. And I ended up, I had a nightlight, no telly, wind up radio. But I started reading Martina Cole books. Fucking hell, they're deep then, mate.
Martina Cole?
Yeah, Martina Cole's she's like a crime writer type of thing, but deep crime writing. And I was like, you know, when you're reading the books, you're thinking, fucking hell. Good. I was reading them, and I had me wind up radio. I had to wind up every 10 minutes. And then you have fucking scabs down here, scabs down there, you know, it winds them up as in them blue and yellow banana suit. So an escape suit where you've got one leg yellow, one leg blue, and then 4. So we used to wear them, yeah.
Was it not you that time in St. B's, or was it one of our mates?
No, it was near Avrig, because they just let them out, don't they? For the day they were litter picking or something. I was in my mate, he's only 17, in the car, and these two fellas that looked as hard as nails, we were 16, 17, jumped in the car and said, "We're out of Avrig jail, can you drive off?" So we were just sat in the car like that. We give them a lift to the train station because we were just that scared.
Yeah.
But they both had a kind of Kestrel super strength. They got drunk through the day.
Yeah, from Birkenhead.
I don't know.
No, not the Kestrel.
Well, they just had them, and they got in. They were like, "Oh," and then I thought they may be lying, them lads, but I thought they look like convicts, like not trying to typecast someone, but I just thought, oh, they look like they're. And then on the news that night, they're like, oh, I was like, fucking hell, were you being? Yeah, you better not. Like I was just in the car scared.
He was just young, weren't you? You know what I mean? It's like in nightclubs. Every fucker used to come to me and say, have you got tablets? I go, do I look like a fucking drug dealer? They go, yeah. I go, fucking hell. Say, how many do you want?
Is that a thing where if you're selling drugs, you better be someone who sells it for you, so you're not the face? Or like where we're from, you know who sells. I don't do drugs, but I know who sells them. And I always think, if I know who sells them and I don't take them, you can't be hard to get caught. Sort of thing.
It's look, when I was 17, 18, it was like 87, 88. Rave music had just started. Now, when I was a kid and you'd go to a nightclub, the last 20 minutes, you'd be pissed. The last 20 minutes, to slow the music down, you'd go and get a fucking ugly bird on the dance floor, whoever's left. So they play like Celine Dion or something like that, so you'd be doing slowies. But then I went to Quadron Park, and that was like the first ever rave I went to in my life. And I've just walked in there and I've just gone, because I've heard about like ease, I didn't take none, because we used to drop a bomb of whiz or smoke weed all the time. And I goes into Quadron Park and it was like, what the fuck is going on here? There was like glow sticks, whistles, people with the tops off, sweating like that. And you were like, and there's people trying to come in, hey mate, where are you from? Trying to bring it all like that, fuck off. And then next minute we'd all had the tablets and we were right in the middle with them.
Yeah, it was me getting dead up another.
That's only drug that looks good. From the outside looking in, these look like you've enjoying yourself.
They were in the 80s and the early 90s. It started when people started mixing different stuff, putting in them, you know what I mean, to make more art. Every drug dealer's got to try and maximise the profits. So you're
cutting them with.
Yeah. Like I got my first tablet in there. It was a brown disco biscuit. Fucking hell, best night of my life. I had a fucking ball. I had the best night of my life, but I wanted to go back the next week. For me to go back there the next week, I didn't have the money to go back because we were only kids. We used to do little robberies and buy ounces of weed between us.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So I ended up getting like 150 tablets. Me and my mates went out, we sold all the tablets in there. We had a weekend of fucking just mad partying. And we were robbing cars at the time. So we always had like an Astra 16 valve or a Golf 16 valve. You know, when you come out of there, you'd be coming out there, eyes a fucking kite driving like that. And then, like, there was a copper who used to live by ours, and he was sound. He'd say, "Look, if you're in something tonight, go give me a shout." And like, by 2:30, 3, when the quads used to finish, like, there was no all night when it first started. We used to just get in the car, go and find this busy, and just pull up next to them, give them the fingers, he'd chase us for an hour.
Oh, shit, for the crack.
But in them days, they wouldn't catch you in a Golf valve or a GTE valve, because you were gone in it. And then, like, the helicopter would come out if sometimes you're getting chased. So you go in the park, turn your lights off and use your handbrake. So then you've got no lights or you've got no brake lights, so they don't know where you are. And all they had at that time was a light. They didn't have heat sensors or nothing like that. So we used to go out everywhere. And we'd been in fucking South Wales and couldn't get home and rob cars to get home. You know,
we've been in some sticks like that.
Like that.
We were going to take a horse once. There was a pony. We were going to ride like cowboys, but yeah, not tonight.
Imagine you turning up like that.
Well, we'd found a bike, so we were on that, but the tyres were busted. There was a horse there, and I was like, "Well, like, how do you get a horse out of the field? Like, we're not like." So I was like,
"Steaming work."
Like I was like, "Oh, like trying to get it out," and then police pulled up. What you doing on that bike? He was on the back of us, and I went, "Oh, we're just out for a bike ride." I went, 4:30 in the fucking morning, wasn't he? Like we're like,
and yeah, flat tyres.
Your tyres are flat.
But then we looked and we wondered why the wheels weren't going round. But there was a chain about that fat.
Well, it's because it was raining. I said, "Well, could you give me the lift into town?" He went, "We're not insured to have people in the back." I thought, "Not insured to have people in the back of a police guy." I was drunk. I thought, "I'm not that fucking drunk."
Yeah.
So I was thinking, I just thought, the mess is just...
People just kicked the car. They got a free leg. Yeah, just from there, it was like, that's where we started making money. We've been out all weekend, paid our bills, what we had to pay, and then we had a good few grand left over.
It must be a lot as well if you're saying...
Yeah, it was in the 80s, but look, you'd go out, get a new pair of trackies out of Wade, or well, you get trainees out of Wade Smith and a pair of trackies, and you'd be ready to go the week after again. You go in, your trackie would be fucking ruined by the time you get out of there. You were sweating like fucking there, weren't you? But the Quadron Park was just, I don't know, it was a big change.
Was it an illegal rave?
No, it was legal.
Oh, was
it? A proper club, yeah. Yeah, proper club.
Oh, brilliant.
like Hacienda and all that, weren't they? They were huge back in the day.
Yeah.
It's when cocaine came in a bit more, I think it changed in the
When
atmosphere.
cocaine started coming in, sort of later 80s, didn't it?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Because cocaine, I think, in the late 70s, early 80s was paste. So
Right.
it was only injectable.
Right.
And then you had a lot of people, you had a lot of people in Miami and Florida who were just dying off it. And then it was Escobar that turned cocaine into powder. If you ever watch Escobar, you'll see him where they're raking the paste with heat lamps on. And what
that's
they've done
drying it out.
dries it out, and then they used to put it into a block.
That'll be a bit harder in toilets, wouldn't it? Trying to take
Because cocaine when it's made,
syringes of cocaine.
cocaine when it's made is like a paste, isn't it? It's like a paste first, yeah. Because it's made with cocoa leaves, bleach, fucking kerosene, paraffin, or petrol, whatever they get their hands on.
So some good stuff in there, like.
Like in Cumbria, when he gets to Cumbria, it's been mixed with fucking all sorts, hasn't it? Well, like when he gets to our sort of neck, there was like Liverpool will be a bit more pure, is it? And then does it just?
Do you know what? Like we started mixing years ago, and when I was in jail, I was doing a welding course in Fullwood College in Preston. But fucking unbeknown to anyone else, I was making kilo boxes, and what I used to do was get the lads to get me a VW badge or a Merc badge, glue it onto the metal, and then when you pressed it, you'd have your Merc or your VW badge pressed into the coke, and I used to like take 9 ounces out, put 9 ounces in, so every 3 kilo you got an extra kilo, and that's how you just maximise your profits again, innit?
So you're taking the weight of the badge, or you're actually...
No, the badge is taking a bit out.
The badge, all the badges there for us to put an imprint in the cocaine.
Ah, right.
Do you know what I mean? So we were making, you had like a metal box, just a square box, bottom in it, sides in it, and then you had a plate for the top.
Right.
And then in the plate, you glue a badge underneath it, or 2 PPs. We should put loads of stuff in it. But when you press that, it compacts it. It leaves it in a block, but it'll leave the imprint of the VW or the Merc badge, so you knew what you were selling then.
Right, right.
You know what I mean? But then...
Do you ever think about doing your own logo?
What, with JB on it? Oh, yeah. Silly, innit? Speed for the cocaine with JB on it. Who the fuck's JB?
I don't know any good graphic designs.
Yeah. So it was just like to that, and, you just start maximising it then, don't you? And then one of my mates, I come out of jail, I hadn't seen him for a few years, and from Birkenhead, my mate, funny fucker he is. I went, where have you been? He went, fucking got 18 months, didn't I? I went, what for? He went, well, it should have been fraud. I went, why? He went, because they fucking tested me, Charlie, and I cut back 2%. Fucking, I was laughing my head off, but it's 2%, so you get coke. It's never 100%, it's always going to be in the 90s.
As well, yeah.
And he had his at 2%, yeah, because people just, it's like me giving you a kilo that's took 9 ounces out of it. First thing you're going to do is go and try and bash it and get more out of it. And you give him a couple of ounces, then they're going to try and smash it up and try and do it lightweight.
What are you cutting it with, though? Especially if it's 2% cocaine and the other 98 is.
Yeah, so that's how many people take bits out of it and make it right. Do you know what I mean? You mix it with benzocaine, then obviously it still numbs you. I can remember years ago, you used to get baby powder, baby Parsons and Fearsons, and it was in like a wrap, and what it was for was to numb the baby's gums, when they were teething.
Right.
But if you mix that with small amounts of Charlie, you think you were fucking snorting coke. But these were all the things that used to maximise your money.
Just trying to think.
Well, it's the same on older, isn't it? I've been on older with lads and like different people, and that they've been on it, and they always say like, "Oh God, this is different." Like the face has gone numb, and that.
Yeah.
Like it's because like where
you can tell when it's strong, but you can tell coke, because if it's bashed, then obviously you're not feeling like you are when it's not bashed, because you're fucking like that. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
At the end of the day, it's how you are with it, and me in them days, I prefer it a little bit bashed, because it just sometimes just doesn't make you want to speak, does it?
This is exactly the point.
I've been out with people and everyone's on it apart from me, and they're just like that, like you said, just looking paranoid, and they want to get more, and all they think about is get more, and you're like, are you even enjoying this? Because you don't look like you enjoy it. Like, it's not the fun.
You spend a fucking fortune you'd have a bird taken to the bar, spending fortunes on champagne and stuff like that. You get it home and you couldn't even get a fucking hands on. You know, you'd be sitting there with your 2 fingers going, fucking smacked.
Whereas, like you said before, you have a pill and you have the best night of your life.
Yeah. Like pills in them days were pills. You know, I don't know what they're like now because I've fucking never had them, but I know there's MDMA and stuff like that out there. But, you know, pills in them days they were brilliant. They were good. Whereas later on in life, like when we started making them, we were making Mitsubishis.
Right.
But we knew what we were putting in them. Yeah, you were getting high, but it weren't full MDMA. And then that's when people started sort of doing stuff like that and the pills became shitter. And I think in 1995, Leah Betts died in Essex.
Essex,
And then the fucking law just totally changed. And they started giving heavy sentences out for it then, didn't they?
Would that have been was she probably affected because of the way that pill was cut? Was it probably something that was in it?
Do you know what? Everyone had them apples at the time as well. Right. And everyone just went mental, started getting rid of them, shutting them, stuff like that, because no one wanted to buy them.
Yeah.
And then later on, I don't know whether it was the tablet or it was something else. But look, you got to look at it this way. How many people were dying on ecstasy? How many people were dying on alcohol?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So, you know, you look at it 2 ways. Alcohol is probably one of the biggest killers in this country for people dying. It's a drug, but it's legal. You know what I mean? You go into like California, Amsterdam, stuff like that. You know, cannabis is legal. It's not legal in this country for a reason, because you get caught with it, you get fined, it's money. And what I always say now is, in this country now, you've got to look at like, we're not going to, I think in the next 3 or 4 years, we ain't going to have legal tender money. Do you know what I mean? You're not going to be able to go in shops with 20 quid, because you go to London now, you can't spend cash hardly anyway.
You've been saying this, haven't you?
Digital currency.
Yeah, so it'll be digital currency, but then you're going to go knock at your drug dealer's house with your credit card and buy 2 grams of coke and a bag of weed. That's what I'm saying. So they've got to come out with a machine to do it. So I look at it this way. Will the country then legalise cannabis because they'll take a hold of it and they'll be able to earn a lot of money on it, tax, whereas now they can't?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? England's a big place for drugs and a lot of people want to sell it because it's a quick, easy fix of money.
Yeah.
But it's when the shit hits the fan and you're sitting inside doing 10 years. For some people, it might be worth it because they might get out to a few quid. For other people, it's probably not. You know, it's you bought into the conspiracy. You've only just started earning money, and then you get nicked, and then you're in a conspiracy and you get 10 years.
Yeah.
At 10 years, then you've got to look at who's got a fend for you while you're in prison. But have you got a bird? Have you got kids? You know, if you're the breadwinner in jail, what's going to happen to them outside? And that's where people start losing their heads inside, start using mobile phones. You know what I mean? It's like how many people I've seen fucking hit the roof because they think their birds are going out on a Friday and Saturday night when you're stuck in jail mode. Then half the time they mightn't be, but you don't see it like that. You know what I mean? And that's where mobile phones and all that come in.
Yeah. Yeah, it must
I've seen a lot of people just go through torture thinking about the birds. You know what I mean? I was with a girl when I was in the Cat A unit, and to be quite honest with you, just had to get ended and just crack on with my life because I went go through that.
Yeah.
There's a couple of months where I was sad about it, but the rest of my jail fucking flew through.
Rather than worry.
Yeah.
So do people get out on top as well though? Or is it, I can imagine in that world it might not be as easy as saying, right, I've got enough here. You know, that's me done, because you're either a seller or you're a buyer.
Yeah.
Somebody's
Some people are earning money.
Hang on, you keep buying from me, or vice versa.
Yeah. Some people will get in it, use their heads, get a few quid out of it, fuck it off for a bit.
Yeah.
And if they could do something right, they'll stay away from it. But other people, like me, I just love the buzz. I love the buzz of being out every week.
Yeah.
I love the buzz of being in parties. I love the buzz of being off my head on tablets and stuff.
So it's that world as well as the money.
And then when you're getting paid for it, it makes life a lot easier, doesn't it?
Yeah.
You know, if someone gives you 10 grand cash in your hand, you won't give a fuck how you spend it. But if someone gives you the grand wages in your bank account, you'll know every penny that you spend. Do you know what I mean? And that's the difference with it. It's when someone gives you lumps of cash, you're just like, fucking hell.
Millionaire.
Yeah. Well, you just start going out and being stupid.
it's ripe though, isn't it? Drugs, like it's not taboo anymore. Like on a night out now, I reckon lads under 35,
Yeah.
I'd say 90% on beak. Now, they're like, you go, have
Loads
you
are.
tried using a toilet on a night out?
Yeah.
I just say you just say you need it on toilet. You're not getting in there, are you?
But you know what I used to do? I used to buy a little bullet and put my coke in it. You used to twist it and go, put it back in your pocket. It just looked like a little
like
medicine bottle, yeah.
They even had spoons in eBay for a couple of years ago.
No, but do you remember McDonald's?
Wearing them round the thing.
Do you ever remember McDonald's spoons?
What, like the
Little
tiny
tiny
ones?
No, but they used to have little tiny spoons, you know, to stir your tea in. But I'm saying,
Oh, the little black plastic.
yeah, but a little tiny. And then you,
So people would take.
that's what it was used for. So like you go in McDonald's, silly hours going, it's fucking like that. Go, you got any spoons? Oh, do you want something sweet? No, it's not a spoon.
Do you think the police try and stop it as much as it? Because like Wu says, like I know who sells it locally, and I don't do it. So the police not like you wouldn't text CSI Miami to work out what's going on. Like Lado's been out of his house 40 times to see cars going past. Like it's not.
But you just remember, like they'll get nicked.
Yeah.
No two ways about it. They'll get nicked, especially up in Cumbria. Do you know what I mean? It's not like a city centre. You know what I mean? Where Cumbria, you know, little farm places up there.
Camouflage,
Yeah. Well, there is, yeah, sheep.
Well, yeah, tell a lie.
But even in like spots like Cumbria, it's so easy to get. Like there must be an abundance of it. Because I think it was in lockdown. One of our like lads we know said it was easier getting cocaine than toilet rolls.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? That's in lockdown when you're not meant to travel and stuff like that. And you think there must be tons of it everywhere.
But it's fucking flooded all over the country.
Yeah.
You know, I don't go out no more, so I don't really see it now. But from what I hear, there's loads of people just take it.
They don't drink. Like
No, that's
this new generation don't drink. Don't get us wrong. I've tried a couple of things over the years and had different things, and I enjoy it, especially pills when that accorded me, because I've had some of the best nights of my life when I've just had one pill because I'm a massive lightweight. But loving life, fantastic.
And then crying emotionally for 2 days after.
Yeah, tell my dad I love him. If this kills me, I love him. Like, talking to a family sitting outside a McDonald's, who are like, who's this guy? but even that aside, even though it's a good laugh, we've always had a good time just on alcohol.
Yeah.
That's enough.
Yeah.
We have a good laugh. We don't get aggressive. You know, we enjoy it. But even now, they don't even drink. It is just purely just off the heads.
I think
just
long-term
on
drug
drugs.
use as well makes people paranoid a
Very,
bit, doesn't it? And they become dead unsociable. I think they start like, oh, I don't like this, I'm going home. And you're like,
Yeah, because when you're young, it's like you're out there, you're talking, you're chatting, you're having a laugh. But as you're getting older in life, you're not doing them things that you were doing when you were young.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's a case of, you know, fucking hell, if I had to learn now, mate, I'll probably be stuck to the bloody wall or something. It's not for me. I've had enough drinking drugs.
Depends on the environment as well. Why would you spend your money? If you were going to do it, you'd do it on a night out. You'd do it in a beef or whatever, local night out, whatever it is. But you're out. If you're just sitting watching a film at home or a movie something like that, I don't see that. That's where you get that stage, that lifetime use.
As you get older, you probably find that like two people who are married or living together,
They're the ones.
That's probably what they might do, and they might have a night in where they'll have a couple of drinks, watch a film. You know, it's not like going into town and going for a rave, is it?
Yeah.
You know, we've done all that. You know what I mean? It's about now you're growing up in life.
Yeah.
Like I'm 52 nearly now. You know what I mean? I don't want to be snorting coke. I don't want to be doing fuck all. I've done enough to last me a lifetime.
Yeah.
You know, I've been sat there with £10 notes stuck in bags, just sitting there going. Well, it's what it is, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's
not taboo anymore, is it?
When you want to be one of them boys. Look, I had a lap dancing club. I had fucking people over there left, right, and centre all the time. I thought I was fucking king of the fucking kids. Just a fucking stupid thing to do, but you know what? I enjoyed it. It was life.
You've got some experiences, though, haven't you?
do you think Lad will be able to go straight as coming out of jail? He done all like tons of cocaine coming into Liverpool. I can't think what it's called now.
Curtis Warren.
That's the one do you think?
Do you know what Curtis is probably just earmarked all the time, and I think he's been in prison probably since 1995, right the way through, and so he hasn't had. I don't think he's had much time out. I think it started probably 95, and then 2000 he was away or whatever it was, but then he'd done his time there, he got embroiled in another weed deal in Jersey. I think fucking poor lad got set up, but he got another 14 years on top of that, and then they hit him with a pocket on top of that. You know, they just didn't want to let him out. You know, he's what you call, he's what people would look up to who want to be a drug dealer. They'd always look up to someone like Curtis. Do you know what I mean? But, you know, Curtis now has probably he's probably never going to be able to move properly. You know, he's going to have one phone, he's got to have a car registered to him, or, you know, Crown prosecution orders now will just make life difficult.
Did they do that after your release as well?
Yeah,
Certain conditions as part of your release.
So I had a Crown prosecution order from my first sentence, where I could only sort of have one phone, like I was restricted from coming back to Liverpool.
Right.
So it took me 2 years to come back to Liverpool and fully be able to get back to Liverpool. All right, I don't live there no more now. But, you know, that's how long it took me. I know people now who can't speak to the brothers or can't speak to the family members because of drugs, and at the end of the day, there's people going back away for it. And, you know, I hope it doesn't happen to Curtis, you know what I mean? Because I think the fella needs a break. But it's just who he associates himself with, where he goes, and who's going to be watching him. Yeah. And if someone's watching him that has got it in for them, then, you know, they'll try and put him back away, yeah.
Do you ever cross paths with each other? So, like, just say you and Curtis were dealing out of Liverpool or whatever. Do you ever like, oh, well, he's sorting
No,
that
because,
out,
you know what, when Curtis, he was dealing, I was only a kid. He's probably about 4 or 5 years older than me, Curtis. So he was, he do sort of dealing as a kid. I only ever seen him in, like, the Buzz Club and stuff like that when we were young. And then after that, Curtis, I think he was living abroad most of the time. You know what I mean? He was working with a Newcastle, a Geordie lad. He was working with a Geordie lad, ends up being a police informant, but they were bringing cocaine together. And that's how he sort of walked on the first trial.
Right.
And then obviously we got him again on it. Have you ever read that Powder Wars with Paul Grimes in?
No, I've not.
See, he was the one who grassed them all up. So when they were burying all the lads' Inglets, there was people like him going digging them up and weighing them in.
I've seen that on Liverpool Narcos.
Yeah. That's how they got caught, wasn't it? It's just when they were...
That tight, he went and tried to get the money for the lead, the scrap metal, and it was the scrap metal people like grass, wasn't it? Some more like these.
There was a fella in there called Paul Grimes. He's down as a supergrass now. But what happened with Paul Grimes is his son got addicted to heroin and I think he had an overdose and died. And he just totally turned the other way then and just flopped on them all, I heard.
Yeah. I can kind of understand it.
Look, heroin in the 80s in Liverpool was fucking horrendous. You know, because it only really come into Liverpool in the early 80s properly. And then where we lived, all my mates, there was a lot of my mates who were living on our estate, all hooked on smack. But you seen them go from good people into bags of bones and then just doing robberies and stuff like that. A lot of house burglars started getting done because people needed that next fix.
Yeah.
And that next fix was going out and getting a bag of bobby.
I suppose we don't see that as much.
No.
Heroin's still out there, but it's not as big as it was in the 80s. It fucking destroyed loads of parts of Liverpool and loads of people in it.
It's weird why people would even try it, isn't it? You know, like you see people on coke, you're like, oh, it looks like a good time, or pills and that. You see people on heroin on a mountain bike trying to nick a source, like pay for a tennis deal.
That's supposed to be one of the best drugs.
It's euphoria, they reckon it is. It's just,
What about, I'm trying to think, Marvin Herbert? Because you know Marvin, so how do you know Marvin?
So me and Marvin have linked up through what we've been doing. Do you know what? I've got a lot of time for Marvin, mate. He's a fucking proper nice, genuine, good fella. And I'll tell you now, mate, he's been through it, Marv.
I wouldn't want to cross him.
No, do you know what? And you probably in them days you probably wouldn't, but you know now he's just a proper nice gentleman.
Yeah.
And you know, I'm trying to help him do a few little bits, and I'll always help him because he's spot on.
Because he was he like a bit of an enforcer for a group and stuff like that?
Yeah, but he's been shot in the face, the legs. He's had a few of it. Like,
did you ever worry about all like that? Like,
do you know what? It was one of them. You knew in this life you were either going to jail, getting killed, getting shot, or you know, you were off, weren't you?
Because there is a chance, like people sort out meetings, and did you ever think in the back of your mind, like, just say you were going to, I don't know, Colombia or somewhere in Europe to meet up about, did you ever think, oh God, it could be my last trip sort of thing?
A few times, yeah. You've been stuck in places in Spain or Turkey, stuff like that, and you're thinking, what the fuck am I doing here? And then you're thinking, you'll always think the worst because you're walking into something that you haven't got a clue what's in front of you. Do you know what I mean? But it's how you are and how you are with the people. And then if you've got a good relationship going with that, then obviously you know everything's pretty safe. And look, if you're doing work for them and they're getting paid, you're getting your money, everyone's happy. It's not going to be a problem. It's when stuff goes missing or stuff doesn't get paid for, that's when it becomes a problem.
How often did that happen? So if you had like so many deliveries, was there many times like, oh, one's been caught? Or
Yeah, but one could put you back to square one. Because the bigger you go, the bigger your fall is.
Right.
You know what I mean? So if you started off, everyone starts off selling little bits when you're young, and then it's how you progress as a person. Then other people see you doing well, and you can hold your own and do it. Then they'll start giving you bigger bits, and then if you've gone from that into getting 10 keys, sort of, excuse me. You're lying. Nobody mentions.
I knew he said exactly.
But if you get like so that, look, if they start getting a ton of weed on, then that ton of weed they've paid £500,000 for in Spain, they got 1.2 million when it used to come back here. If that goes, you're £500,000 out of pocket.
I don't think
if someone gets 100k of coke, then obviously you're entering in a different world, aren't you?
Well, you see them people that bring it on planes and that, I don't know how they can go through that stress, because you'd just be thinking every time the police looked at you, something like you're just paranoid.
But that's the thing. That's the thing of how you are. I've sat in a car with 150 grand in the boot when I've been pulled. When I've been past speeding. I've had tablets in the car when police have been pulled. It's how you are with the police. Now, if you're going to shit yourself in the car, the first thing you're going to do is bring everything on top for yourself. You've got to keep that calm about you. If they don't know what's in your car and they're not stopping you for a search, you know what I mean? It's how it is. It's like now, if you've got blue lights coming behind you, still always have a little jittery, won't you? You always think, shit, have I got anything in this car?
You're something wrong, don't you?
Yeah, it's in your brain, but...
Surprised you got done speeding. I think if I had that in the car, began about 9 miles an hour or something. Just proper mistakes.
So I remember one time, I was driving up by Switch Island, and the copper was out with his gun, the speeding gun.
Yeah.
And I think I got done doing 43, but he pulled me over. I knew it weren't going to be a stop, search, stuff like that. He just said, did you know you were speeding? I went, look, I apologise, I'm just trying to get home. He went, all right. He said, you were only 3 miles an hour over, just watch your speed and get going. But then if I'd have got off and took chase, possibility is I'd have got nicked. If I stayed there and blended it, you know what I mean? You stay there and blend it. You go, what's happening there? Get it? You've got to try and think your fucking ass is twitching, but you've got to try and be like, police know when you're doing something. You know what I mean? You've got that look of fucking horror in your face when they pull you up. You're sweating. You can't talk. Your mouth's dry as a fucking cunt, and you just like, and they just say, right, can you get out the car and we'll search the car? But if you blend it, that's what you got to do.
Well, I got caught on my phone once, and I seen them pull up behind. I thought, oh, I'm on my phone. So I went like that, as if I was just still leaning against the window. So when he opened the window, he was like, wind that down. I went, oh, hiya. And he was going, I think you've just been on the phone like that. I was like, oh, fucking hell. It's on the phone to you, wasn't it? Because
how many people do you think do that?
Well, that's what I mean. I don't know what I was thinking. He was going, you're on camera, we can go back and re-watch the camera, or you can... And I was like, yeah, sorry. Yeah, it was police camera action as well.
Yeah.
It's got the camera, the boom and that, and the big volume thing in there. Took us in the car. The policeman was lovely, because he's on telly.
Yeah.
And then, done the interview, and that they're going, oh, is that a company car? And I was like, well, no, it's an Astra from 14 years ago. It's like... And he was laughing and that, and he was dead polite. The policeman went, well, I'm going to give you a ticket.
Valve, was it?
No, it was 1.4. Big boy exhaust. And I just rang up and said, you're not putting that on telly, because if you ring up, they've got to blur your face out on it. I had the producer guy ring us up saying, John, it's hilarious, can we put it on? I was like, why would I want that on telly? Do you know what I mean? He's going, I was like, I work and stuff like that. What would this benefit me? And he's like, kept ringing us, oh, please, can we get
on YouTube soon. So.
It's like people say to me, why did you go on that Narcos program? That weren't supposed to be a Narcos program.
Right.
It was supposed to be called Liverpool Grafters, and it was about people who have grafted and who have changed along the way. I had my kids in that program who were telling the impact it had on them when I was in jail. You know what I mean? It was powerful stuff. And then I think it was about 3 or 4 months before the program come out. Sky phoned me up and said, "Look, we're going to be changing the name and calling it Liverpool Narcos." And I've just said, look, if you go down that route, just get my kids out of episode 3 and get me out of episode 1. I said, episode 2 I'm fine with. You know what I mean? And I remember the trailer to that. I was sitting in my bedroom, I'd just been watching Everton. It was half time. Everton were getting beat 2-0. I thought, you know what, I'll have a cup of tea and a sandwich while I'm waiting for it to come back on. And you know when you hear something? Now, when I was getting filmed, just as I got to Everton Brow, just as they started to film, 2 kids went past on motorbikes with helmets off, and I started giggling. Me looked at the camera and went, welcome to Liverpool. And then I'm sitting in my bedroom that day. It was the full English fixtures were on at 4 o'clock because they were all the games. The F1 was on, and I think every channel was sort of playing that. And I've been sitting there and I've heard, welcome to Liverpool, and I went, fucking hell. Just got the shock of my life, and then next minute my phone was just going mental. And it was like loads of me mates and people just saying, fucking hell, I've just seen you on the Sky Cinema, or I've just seen you on F1. I've just seen it on the footy channel. I'm going, fucking hell. But just because I said that, just because them lads went past on the motorbike, I started giggling. I would turn around and went, welcome to Liverpool. And fucking Luther's the opened, didn't he? And then it was just one of them. It just went from there then. But if my kids had stayed in it, it'd have been a fucking powerful watch, because it just showed the impact it had on them. Yeah. And we had to, and I said, well, I get it out, because I'd written rights to what I could have in and what I couldn't. And then once they come back to me, as soon as they said they changed it to Liverpool Narcos, I just went, nah, I said, take the kids out of it.
Yeah, you've changed direction.
Yeah.
That's what you've got to, like, glorifying it, so you go down the wrong route. Like, you're doing something better now, aren't you? You know what I mean? You look
but I had that at the end.
hindsight,
I was the only one who had it at the end, what I'd been doing and stuff like that.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? But, to me, Narcos is proper Narcos. And it's, your Escobars and your Cali cartels and stuff like that. They're Narcos films. That shouldn't have been a Narcos film. But you know what? They changed the name for people to sort of get attracted to it. Yeah. Do you know what I mean?
Marketing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Trying to trigger people.
Yeah, and that's what they've done it for.
That's when they're always trying to get, like, that perception, isn't it? You're like the underworld. You see it with some podcasts and that, don't they? It's like, won't want to know what you're doing now. It's just about, like,
it's like me. I won't go on loads of podcasts. I don't want to go on loads of them, because I don't want to glorify myself as a gangster or anything like that. I'm someone who was trapped in a world, who earned a lot of money, lost it all, and then just started coming out and just getting his shit together. My life's more about helping people get into a different life, where when I first come out 5 or 6 years ago and I started doing this, there weren't many people like me doing it. What you're seeing now is loads of different people are jumped on the bandwagon and doing it. A lot of them do good, a lot of them are not interested, a lot of them are just there to earn money and get what they can out of it.
Yeah.
Where you've got to put your stats right, that you're putting people out there to work, and that's what it's all about. I've got some great companies on board now.
Although you enjoyed the time before, you said, some of the cracks,
I wouldn't change. I wouldn't change my life.
Wouldn't change
no.
it. Is this what you're doing now just as rewarding?
Yeah.
Not in terms, not maybe not in terms of money.
It's more rewarding.
Yeah.
Because I'd done something the other day where we got 5 lads and we got them all into full-time work. But what the employer didn't realise is that we haven't just got them 5 changed, because they've got wives and girlfriends, but they've also got kids. And when we worked it out, it was 24 people's lives that had been changed just by you giving 5 jobs out.
Yeah, it was.
You know what I mean?
So be a good feeling.
Yeah, people don't see it like that. Like, I've got lads who come out of jail every day now and go to work and go back to jail. They go home every month for 2 or 3 days or 4 days on a home leave. For people who've got money, that's all right. But for people who haven't and have been working, then they can actually go out with their families and buy stuff for the kids, buy a meal for the missus, give them some money. For me, that means a lot, because I've seen a lot of people go out with nothing. And being in a Cat D is, it's about rehabilitating people and getting them out to work. And for me, that's where I find the more people you put into work while they're in prison towards the end of the sentence is giving them a little bit more chance at life to stop reoffending when they get out.
Yeah.
Because that's the hard part. The easy part's doing your jail and coming out. It's what you've got to do when you're out.
We touched on that, didn't we?
Yeah,
Coming out of it.
you meet the wrong people who you've with beforehand, and before long you just bang in the middle of it again, aren't you?
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing. If you're on the dole getting £60 a week, or you can go and get 10 grand to drive this somewhere else. It's...
I was on the dole selling drugs anyway. I didn't give a shit. I was getting fucking flat paid for. I
Driving in a BM like that.
So when I was 16, I had a flat right by Quadrant Park. I was 16, obviously. I was a handful at home, so I didn't sort of see eye to eye with my dad at the time, most because I had the police at the house, but I went and got a flat. I got a flat when I was 16 and just cracked it on my own, so I had no choice other to get out and earn some money.
Yeah.
And I had jobs along the way and stuff like that. I always thought having jobs and doing little bits on the side was always what would be all right, and then the more money you're earning, the bigger you grow.
Yeah.
Thing with the job centre though, I worked there for a small period of time. I got sacked quite quick, but people were coming in like overalls.
How can you get sacked from the fucking job centre?
Still have to go in on Monday after being sacked. It was one of them. You still have to like go back and sign forms. But I got sacked on like a Friday. Yeah. No, it was. But people were coming in like overalls and that. And you're like, yeah. Is this like you're going to try and hide that you're not working? Like I've got to make this quick. You're like, you're meant to be at work. Still, like I never sanctioned anyone, but I used to think play the game a little bit or take them overalls off or stuff like that. And because we had a camera outside, you get more if you're an alcoholic, don't you?
Yeah.
And you'd have people pouring cans on the road outside, like fucking hell, like you can see it on the camera.
I remember going to sign on years ago. You'd have to leave your fucking car around the corner, wouldn't you?
You're not really saying now, you pulling up in a BM or something like that.
Just get your naff and put it on for sign.
And you'd be like, fucking hell. Yeah, I remember all that. Look, in the years ago, they used to pay for your rent and stuff like that. And what you did on a Friday and Saturday was your own money, weren't it?
Oh, did they?
Yeah. So you get all your rent and stuff paid for, get about 30 quid or 40 quid a week or something like that. And then, obviously, go and buy yourself 4 tablets.
Enjoy it.
Yeah.
But that's probably a difference these days. Was you're saying about that, and don't get me wrong, there's got to be some incentive for people to go out and work and whatever else, but they almost de-incentivise it, disincentivise it, and more people will be liable, like you said, and you've said, Johnny, to turn to that quick 10 grand, because you're not even getting the 50, 60 quid anymore, where you can have a couple of drinks in the house of a weekend. You're literally potless. You've got nothing. So what else are you going to do?
That's the way it was for us. It was just going in what you can get out and get the night out and just see what you could get out of the weekends, and then just grow from there. And then just obviously the bigger you grow and the more people you've got selling for you and stuff like that, and different sort of categories of drugs or cigarettes or whatever you was doing at the time, then that's the world you live in, innit?
We were talking about that on the way down, weren't we? And I've always had this it's not a fantasy. It's probably a bad choice of words.
Start talking about fucking lady boys.
Yeah, but in my own head, when I've been on my arse, times past, and probably, talking about 10, 15 years or whatever ago, and I always thought and considered, if you had nothing to lose, then I didn't have a kid or a wife, why don't you, like you say, just get full of gear, so at least you're strong, maybe take a hide and get a bath. Like you said, the guy over the road stealing a bit of pot. Go over there, put the frighteners up in, ask him who he gets it off, move on to the next, break his legs, and just carry on till you
used to do that.
Right? Because it just makes logical sense to me to think, well, if I know he's doing it.
The tax man in so Brian, his son Brian, he's changed his life, but that's what he was. He was going around taxing people.
Right.
Stephen French, the devil, that's what he used to do. He used to go down.
He was a scout.
I don't think he'd have that same effect.
Yeah, no,
to be honest. Watch it.
I come to my door, I give you the fucking nappy and say, put that on and watch the telly.
Knocking on the door with a gum shield, head guard and gloves on.
Just stand careful, lucky.
Yeah.
Just stand behind him. You wouldn't be able to see anyone behind him anyway.
Would you have to have, I suppose, it's a laugh, but to do that, would you have to have a screw loose, because you're getting that far, you'd have to be willing to hurt someone.
Because if you're going to go and rob someone, then obviously they're going to come back at you.
Yeah.
And, there's people who are in mental cases, but, they've still all had beatings or hidings or been shot at for robbing drugs off people.
You can't be talk like you were saying. It's all right having them hard men, but if you to do that and get found out, the consequences are a bit worse. Aren't they?
What Stephen French looks like rock hard, doesn't he? And Brian's
But
looks like 24 stone.
Steve was like a big mad karate expert years ago as well.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Was he on Ross Kemp on Gangs back in the day? Yeah.
So he was on that. He was on that a lot, and then you had the tax man.
Yeah.
Brian was just an animal, wasn't he? He was a big lump, and he just used to go around robbing and taxing people. You always get that. Like when we were growing up as kids, there was a few people round by our areas that used to go around just taking people off, or going with a gun or a knife and just robbing the weeds or the money off them and stuff like that. It's what happens, isn't it?
But you can't ring the police, can you? Well, like the drug dealer can't say
how many drugs probably nowadays. I've seen a lot of them do. You know, I've seen like stuff in the paper that goes out where they said, look, I had a cannabis farm in the back of my house, and he'd come in and rob me, and you know, we couldn't say that years ago. You wouldn't be able to just get away with it.
It'd be good to ask. I was just going to ask, did anyone try and do that to you? Tax you?
No. You always hear people, someone's followed you or someone's done this, but I couldn't give a fuck whether they'd done this or done that. Never happened to me, so no.
Well, I'm intimidated.
You are?
I was intimidated by that. So,
yeah. But to be honest, it's look, I had people around me who were game as fuck.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So, you know, someone's going to rob you, then if you know the eye, Liverpool's a place where you'd find out dead easy, you know what I mean? You know, I was one of them persons who I didn't go around causing fucking havoc. Do you know what I mean? A lot of my stuff I'd done out of town. Do you know what I mean? Like I was supplying different areas.
Yeah.
You shit in your own area, you know, it comes back to bite you on the arse, doesn't it? So I always kept my stuff out of town when I was later on in life. And you get more money for it. You know, if you've got people in Wales or, you know, people in down south or up north or some places like that, you get more money for your bits than you would in Liverpool. It's weird.
Is that just...
Does everything come through Liverpool? Because you always hear it like, come through Liverpool dock and stuff like. Is it just that?
You used to say years ago Liverpool was the epicentre of the drugs.
Yeah.
But it had a port.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And obviously from that port, a lot of drugs started coming into Liverpool, and then Liverpool just started getting known for having families who were dealing with stuff like that, and just, you know.
It takes a bit of a brain though, because I was saying to Gavin, it's like being a project manager, isn't it, really? Because you've got to deal with people buying it over there, you've got the bloke guys there, you've got to pick up.
You tell me, anywhere you go in this world, you'll always bump into a Scouser. Anywhere you go, you'll always bump into the Scouser.
Always on holiday.
Because they're everywhere.
Oh, sorry.
Like one of my mates from London, he goes, "You're fucking like water use." I said, "What do you mean? You're getting fucking everywhere." He said, "Any fucking where, you're all fucking there, you scouse cunts."
It must be the most common nickname as well in the world. Because anyone who is a Scouser, if you're talking Scouts from someone in someone's village or town, and they're all given the nickname Scouts.
But you know, when a Scouser lives in your village or in your area, everyone thinks he's a madman.
As well? Yeah.
And do you know what? He could be the most timidest person in the world and say, "I'm a fucking madman," and then that's it. Scouser's off, man.
Everyone's like...
But because everyone's got links.
Knows the right people in. It's a scaffold, I don't know if he does.
Yeah. But everyone's got links to Liverpool, and then if someone wants drugs, they can fucking get it. Yeah. But nowadays, like, you know, you're getting people sending text messages around, like 20 bags of Kush and 3 bags of Charlie for 50 quid, and I'm thinking, fucking hell, in my day, you wouldn't have even dreamed of sending a text like that.
Yeah, WhatsApp groups for it, don't they? Like, there's groups where
everyone thinks because it says end-to-end encryption, that it's fucking end-to-end encryption, is it? Fuck. No. You know, read some of the stories you get. Just put in, when you Google it, just put people arrested through WhatsApp. Watch how many things there is in them.
It's like people on Facebook, they sell them digiboxes on Facebook selling pages, don't they? You know, where they come and the IPTV, like, you know, that's illegal, don't you? You're just putting on there, I'm doing an illegal thing. It's just fucking weird, isn't it?
That's what people do to make money from. People sell clothes and stuff on it. But I watched that House of Gucci. Have you ever watched it?
No.
So watch that House of Gucci, and you know all the fake stuff that was going around years ago, they were supplying it. Because they weren't asked. Because their brand was getting out all over the world. And if someone who lived in your street was high-end with a nice Gucci bag, you wanted them. But if you couldn't afford them, you'd buy the fake one. But then a lot of people didn't realise you were buying the fake one and go buy real ones as well, so their trades went up as well.
Just genius market.
Like China, I've been to China a few times, and I'll tell you what, they'll fucking copy anything over there. And I mean, bang to the nail.
Except your bird's name if you want it in Chinese, right?
Yeah, go fucking chicken chow mein or something in it. But yeah, that's like China's it's an impressive place. I've watched a fella, an artist, have 10 canvases, and is it like a Monet, is it a sunflower or something like that? I've watched him start on the same one right the way through. And if you go back like 3, 4, 5 hours later, you want to see what he's done to them pictures, mate. It's just bang to the nail with proper oil painting. And that's how they're built over there. They're built to do stuff like that because it's not the same as our countries.
Yeah.
Where you go
around yourself.
Yeah, I used to get toilets and sinks and all that supplied and sent over, but I used to get Philroy and Boch fucking wrote up. So
but you'd send them over and then
so I've been over there. I've watched. So I used to go to the factories and watching sinks and toilets getting made from clay, getting fired and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then where you have like armoured shanks in blue to say to you what name do you want to say Philroy and Boch. You go right and they fucking put it on for you.
So every Blake District.
Yeah, like Ugg boots, stuff like that.
Yeah.
We were buying Ugg boots straight from the factory that made them, out the back door.
Is it as easy as that, or would customs, or is it like looking for a needle in a haystack for them? You could get that much.
To be honest, that in the 90s and early 2000s, when you were doing like alcohol or fake stuff and things like that, they were getting in all the time.
Yeah.
And then they started getting X-ray machines and started opening stuff, and then started getting onto China, and then they were even weighing what ciggies were weighing in a container.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? So when them container cranes picked them up, it also weighs them as well. So there was certain weights that they know was a full container of cigarettes. I think when I got nicked with ours, we had 26 wagons with about 30 to 32,000 sleeves in. And we had 4 containers with 90,000 in each. I think it's probably about over £1 million worth of, £1 million sleeves of cigarettes. God. So they were like 200s. So you just amount how much that was up. But any stuff like ours in 3-piece suites, boilers, fridge insulation, reels of cotton were all fake inside. So there was loads of different ways of getting them in the country through smother.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, I remember having a unit in Knowsley, and a couple of weeks before I bought a big container of toys, and I only had them about 10 days, sold a lot of them, and then I had a container full of ciggies coming on 3-piece suites and stuff. And while I'm in there doing me work in there, I had like leather 3-piece suites everywhere, fucking loads of plug coming, didn't he? Got a warrant to search the premises. And I went, what for? Because the police don't deal with ciggies, HMRC do.
Yeah.
And he went for toys. I went, well, there's no toys in here, mate. He went, you can see what's in here in the warehouse. He was going, oh, what are these? I said, there's all the paperwork for them. I bought them. And he was going, bit hard, aren't they? I went, that's brand new, mate. I'm thinking, fucking hell, there's master boxes of sleeves. And he's fucking bouncing up. And I felt like saying to him, you're going to put creases in my ciggies. But yeah, and so they were there. And, to me, I had to blend it. And I blended it. They were sound. He went, look, it's for sale. And I went, no, these all go to a shop. I said, but pop in a few weeks. I said, if any come in, I said, we'll always keep them aside. He went, look, sorry to bother you. We just got told there was loads of toys. And he went, nah, it's all right, mate. He got out and I've got
Back in the 80s and 90s, could you bribe the police a little bit more?
Yeah.
Like, just say they come round and you're like, oh, well, I'll tell you what, look at
to
the
get your ciggies in, you had customs officers that were getting paid.
Is it a lot to pay them more? Because on Sopranos, not everyone gets a slice and stuff like that, and then...
Everyone gets a slice, don't they? That's the thing. If you can get someone who works in a customs and they'll give you the information you need, then he's like fucking gold. Yeah. But I had them in Spain. You know what I mean? Like years ago, you could pay the police in Spain to fucking give you an escort through with a fucking wagon full of weeds, yeah.
Pass the wagon full.
Yeah. But it's like The Business. Have you ever seen The Business?
Yeah.
So it's a film with
Danny Dyer, is that?
Yeah. But it's probably one of the best good films of that era, because that's exactly what it was like.
Right.
You know what I mean? So everyone in Spain hated cocaine. They didn't want you bringing cocaine, but they weren't asked about weed because you could get in a boat and drive across to Morocco and come straight back with half a ton of weed in a rip. You know what I mean? If you wanted to put a ton in it, there's a possibility you might be fucking drowning. So just do half a ton, then it's easy, innit?
Yeah.
But they weren't really asked about weed. A lot of countries are not asked about weed, but you look at it now, the weed now, from when it was when I was a kid, you know, the green we used to get was Sensimilia. You know, what had pips and stuff in. You know, that was the green we had, but we used to smoke Rocky. But now there's that many different strands and different strains and different strengths of it. A lot of it just knocks you fucking sideways. You know, if you don't smoke weed and stuff, and then you go in like going in a cafe. So it used to sit outside the Grasshopper in Amsterdam, and you'd see all the young kids or people coming over getting stoned, and then you'd be sitting outside just chilling because you were there, you were living there, or you were living round about. And then, you know, because as soon as people walk out of them places and the fresh air hits them, you see them go, you see the colour just drain out and like going, yeah, look, here they are now.
And then you same place, the same spot.
Just go green, don't they?
Yeah,
They look like white, and then you're like, fucking hell, he's going to be sick, and then that's it, isn't it?
Yeah, one of the funniest times in Amsterdam, we found two small people, two midgets, what we used to call them. And I got them on the Charlie singing We Are the Lollipop Kids outside one of the bars. But, you know, things like that we used to do was just funny.
Daft.
Yeah, just funny,
yeah.
You know, it's just part of like you and your mates sitting there off your fucking heads, laughing your fucking heads off all day.
That's weed though, isn't it? It's not.
Yeah. Be legal here in about 10 years.
Yeah.
I've had a small person.
Drink makes people aggressive. Some people shouldn't drink or depressive. Whereas weeds, it does make people paranoid.
It's a depressant.
Overuse, and
you know what I mean? Where like speed's a stimulant, or it's, you know, weed's a depressant.
Yeah.
But for some people, it works in different ways and the different strengths.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I remember
I used to love it when I was little. I used to just sit and think everyone was just
LSD was
laughing,
the best. Some magic mushrooms. Magic
Never.
mushrooms were fucking out of this world when we were kids. And you'd go out now and again and have some LSD, like you'd make it in tea and stuff in Amsterdam. And you'd be walking around going, fucking hell.
I've heard some horror stories.
But if you just, you see at there's times where people in the coffee shops will tell you what is going to be strong and what's not.
Yeah.
They're the piece of people you listen to. I remember being over here and we telling you about small people. One of my mates got married and we took him out for a drink, but we'd got a small person dressed as a Smurf. He come blue with his hat on and everything. And we were only supposed to have him for 2 hours. We picked him up at 6 o'clock. He left us at 4:30 in the morning. He didn't even fucking charge us. He said that's the fucking best night I've ever had in my life. He was snorting coke. He was on Gary's. He was just flying through the floor in nightclubs. But it was just one of the funniest things. Like, he'd be trying to get on, he'd be, you know, flying under girls' skirts. And he said, what are you doing? I didn't want to get a flap across the face. But he was just a fucking proper funny person.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's laughs like that you have when you go out doing stuff like that.
Yeah.
Where nowadays, it's not really like what it used to be like years ago, because you do something now, everyone's got a phone out. If there's a fight, everyone's got a phone out. And to me,
everyone's pretentious.
yeah, it's called sweetgrassing. No one knows they're doing it. But next minute, if there's a fight, it's on social media, the two people are getting nicked.
Yeah.
You know, and that's just because my mate was having a fight with them and I taped in, look, this is it, get on Johnny, yeah. I've sent a video to them, he sent it to someone else, and before you know it, it's just everywhere.
Yeah.
You know, and that's the way the world is at the minute. It's a fucking nightmare, isn't it?
What's ruined it for young lads?
I wouldn't like to grow up in this.
No,
way,
I wouldn't. I've said that loads of times
no
now.
chance.
Imagine taking a selfie with your friends before
Yeah.
the night out. It's like, hey, night out. You're like, what are you doing here?
You know, I'd hate to be 16 in this day and age, mate.
I think we were lucky, our generation, probably one of the last ones as mobiles were coming out.
Yeah. You know, my first mobile
stuff you got up
was
to.
about that big.
£10 top up on it.
It was a thingy one wearing it. I think it would be orange.
Orange Motorola's, weren't they? With
The brick they used to call them. I remember we robbed a golf. I'm not telling you where they're from in case the Chinese fella gets on me. But I remember robbing a golf and I'd had one of the boxes in with the phone on, and we'd come out to Quadrant Park one night, me and my mate, we gets in and the phone starts ringing. Wing, wing. So I answered it. You motherfucker, bring my fucking car back. Oh, what? Bring my fucking car back. Said to me, mate, put that out the window. He puts it out, and like where the quads was, he used to go over the hill and brake, come back over and brake. So we was just doing that. You could hear him screaming down the phone. And that was the very first time we sort of got to use to
Like
know what phones were like.
sort of phone,
And then you had your bricks like that. And then obviously they started getting smaller and smaller and smaller. And then your 8210s come out, your Nokias. And they were the ones that everyone was grafting on.
Yeah.
But then you're sending text messages and all that, you still get nicked. They're like grassing machines, man.
That's how you always see them when they're getting caught. You're like, I don't think I'd have that digital trail. Do you know what I mean? Like, you'd just be everything in person.
But you think about it, like a lot of young lads now, they're walking around with like £10 phones, throwaway phones, but they've got an iPhone in the back.
That tells you where you are, doesn't it? You know what I mean? If you're in your house with a burner phone.
I watched a video not long ago about a fella who travelled all around Britain for 7 days. He took his SIM cards out of the phones, turned them off.
See if anyone could track him.
He went travelling 7 days. He plugged them into the Google Analytica thing, and it basically told him every single place he'd been, even getting out and walking from a train station to a bus. Just told them everything.
And it's paid for way. Yeah.
And if police get hold of your phone or you watch, I know lads who's been doing murders.
That was in Manchester, wasn't it? When they run against
Mark Fellows, yeah.
Yeah.
And that's all they got him, wasn't it? Like a bit or something.
I know Mark and I know Boyley, the both of them got nicked. They also knew Massey and they also knew John Kinsella. Do you know what I mean? But it's a world that people live in, and you know, when you're in that game or you're having fights with someone or you're having threats with people or someone's going to do this or someone's going to do that, then the next thing is someone's putting money on your head, aren't they?
He didn't look like a murderer, did he? The guy who done it, like showed you obviously in his running gear and stuff like that.
Do you know what? A murderer just doesn't look like a murderer. It could be someone just walks up to you. You could be the normalest person in the world, but you're a cold fucking killer that will just come out and shoot at someone.
What was that of it? Was that like just two rival gangs or just two?
Yeah, I think you know what, Massey used to have all the doors in Manchester years ago, didn't he?
Yeah.
Obviously, as you get older, there's younger kids who are coming through who will just, you know, the way you see it now, they'll just fucking shoot you.
Yeah.
You know, when you've been in the game for years growing up, when you get into your older age, you don't really want to be still in it because you've still got the younger ones who are coming through ranks.
Yeah.
And then it's always one of them younger ones that probably could put you to kip or something like that.
Because he was well liked, wasn't he, Paul Massey, in that area? I know people who know him in there said he was a lovely bloke.
He was one of them. He's always helped the community and stuff like that. But no matter if you're a lovely bloke or you're not, if you're in that game, then sometimes it's one of them. It'll come to the end. You had the Noonans up there years ago.
Oh, I've watched that Dominic and...
Yeah, well, Damien was... Damien, the brother, I think he got killed on a motorbike years ago on holiday, Damien. And then you had Desi, who was a complete and utter barn pot. He got killed by a crackhead. And then you had Dominic, who I think you've been seeing the shows on it. There's just all kinds of rumours going around about him. But, you know, they were a family years ago. There was loads of family years ago that, you know, a lot of them just fall out of the game, don't they?
I was going to say age, like you said, a 17-year-old, 18-year-old trying to prove themselves.
Yeah, they're trying to prove
60-year-old who's just sort of like got the family that don't really want to be in it, but sort of got a foot in it. They're always going to get ironed out, aren't they, in the end?
100%, and that's what being in that game's about. You know, there's 3 ways you'll have a go in there, and you'll go to jail no matter what. You know what I mean? If you're big enough and you're selling enough drugs, but you're doing it from in front of people, then you'll get nicked and you'll go to jail. You know what I mean? The only way you won't go to jail is you end up dead, or you fucking be an informant. Do you know what I mean? And that basically is what will happen, because everyone now who's involved in drugs, who not top level, sending stuff in and things like that, it's the dealers. They're all the ones that'll get nicked.
Yeah.
And then you see, like now, look, they're building more bigger jails. You know, our country now, jail's probably one of the biggest businesses in the country.
It's like that in America, isn't it? That's become a business. That's why they have so many people in there. Cheap labour, don't they? So they find people out to dig.
Yeah, and you've got to look at America's penal system. That fucking hell, there's a lot of people doing a lot of time in there. You know what I mean? You know, and that's the way our prisons are going to go.
Well, I watched one of them documentaries. It was a guy getting stabbed. 2 people holding him down. The guy holding his legs was only in there because he forged a check, but he had to do it, otherwise he gets stabbed. You know what I mean? Yeah. So he's gone from like doing
different world, them American jails to like here. And then you've got the likes of Brazilian jails, you've got Thailand jails. Billy Moore, have you spoke to Billy?
Yeah.
Billy's boss, brilliant fella.
Yeah.
You know, he's been through the mill as well, Billy. Have you watched this film?
Yeah.
Before Dawn, it's a great film, yeah.
Just them countries like you saying, being to China, I feel like if I was doing that world, I wouldn't want to go anywhere where you see like some of them jails. I know ours aren't great, but I mean they're compared to them.
But ours, the way ours are compared to things like 5-star hotels and stuff. Yeah. You know, we've got like 30 people in jail. So I believe Dubai, the prisons over there are fucking horrendous.
We'll find out soon. Guitar, anyways.
Just, are you going over there?
No, I'm not.
I'm going to say, don't start necking him, mate. You'll end up away. That's
That's
what's going to be probably one of the biggest things over there.
Yeah. Oh,
because, you know,
England fans?
Yeah.
They'll be wanting to have a drink. Of course
and neck each other.
They'll do it as well. Lads being lads. We would probably do it and be like,
that's a country,
will take the piss.
That's a country where you can't basically snog your girlfriends in the street.
Yeah, never
Do you know
mind.
what I mean? So, you know, it's a different law, and you know, the next 6 weeks over there are going to be really, really interesting. But I don't think you'll see anything.
Do you know?
No.
They'll be on best behaviour there, police and everything.
I'll be honest, even people getting nicked and arrested and stuff like that, I don't think you're going to see it, because I don't think people are going to let out to see. It's a country where you can't drink.
Yeah.
You know, you tell me how many English supporters over there are not going to be drinking. It's what we do. We go to World Cups and we get pissed and we get loud and we have fights. I went to the 2006 World Cup, mate, with my lad. My lad was only 9 at the time. I think we done 15 games right through to the semis, quarters, final. Italy, we done right the way around Germany. We had a scream, but everywhere you went, there was just crowds and crowds of Scousers. And you'd walk past the bar, you'd hear, "No, then, lad!" You're just everywhere. You know what I mean? And it's what it is. And then next minute you're having a bevy with them, you're having a laugh with them. Towards the end of the night, someone gets said something. Next minute, there's fucking mayhem, and it's just madness.
It's like when you're on older with your bird, isn't it? And you see a group of lads turn up in the hotel, you're like, oh, for fuck's sake. Because I'd rather have terrorists than like a stag do in my hotel for a week. Because it's a fucking nightmare. Well, it is though, isn't it? Like, if you're in a group of lads, it's great, isn't it? Like, what a laugh.
I'd rather be in a fucking full of lads and girls than a fucking load of terrorists, wouldn't you? No,
but sometimes they turn up, you're like, oh, fuck it. Yeah. But when you're with a group of lads yourself, you don't notice it. You're like, oh, everyone loves this, but you don't realise all the colours.
I remember going to Iron Apple. You know, Iron Apple, it was just fucking hell, it was mental over there. I remember going back to the hotel where we were staying. Like some lovely bird, she was beautiful. And goes back to the hotel, and then on the big bloody telly, I've just looked behind me. There's a fucking big porno behind me on the telly, and I'm like, oh, fucking hell, I didn't expect to come back to this, but that's what it was like. It's what it's like. It's just fucking mayhem. No, it was crazy over there. Like, we used to do a lot of Gran Canaria, Tenerife. Like, they were the places at the time, weren't they?
English are always the most friendliest out of all the nations. Like, I always think the most, obviously a fucking nightmare as well when they've had a drink, but they're always the most polite, aren't they, and stuff like that. But you always see a group of lads, you're like, oh, for fuck it.
It's like I see a difference from down south to up north. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Up north, I find that people are more friendly and sort of, where down south, you know, I find that they're not. But when you look at two ways, down south, they're paying 3 times as much house rent that we were paying. Down there, you had to have good jobs or work 2 or 3 jobs anyway. And it was all about people just constantly cheering and work.
Well, it's the same if you go, like, if you come out of a door, you look to say hello, don't you? In St Helens and in the north. If you do that, like in London on the tram, people look at you like fucking Jeffrey Dahmer or something like that, don't they?
Yeah, but like Jeffrey Dahmer.
But you know what I mean? Like, who's this weirdo? Who's
this old baller?
I'm going to fucking eat you in a minute.
The guy just said hello to me, like freaking out sort of thing. But yeah, North's definitely more friendly.
But I tell you what, I remember I was in the Cat A unit, mate, and I'd only been in there a few days, and I was talking to one of the lads. He said, what did you get nicked with? I was telling him. And I went, what did you get nicked with? He went, and took me in his pad. And he went, like this happens and that happens. And then he started showing me pictures of a severed head with a gunshot wound and I was going, he went, have you ever tried cutting a body up? I went, I said, no, but I said, if I was, I'd do it like a chicken on the joints. He went, you fucking hell, I didn't know that, did I? I was fucking shorting his legs off there. I'm sitting in this pad with him going, fucking hell, I wouldn't need on you. You know what I mean? But he was fucking sound. He was a fucking proper good, funny lad. And you know, just like the images he showed me, like, I was just like, the fuck's going on here? You know what I mean? You're in for like, you're trying to show him like what you're nick for, and then he's pulling like parts of bodies out going, look, you recognise it?
Like Tom
yeah, well, he had a bigger head, size 2. I was like, fucking hell. And then there was a little Israeli guy in there, and he was getting visits, everything. He was getting fucked off with a lot. So me and my mate, like one of my mates from London, I was in there, we're sitting there having a piece of toast, and you can't move off the unit. You've got to stay. You're on that wing. You're staying there. And then he's come out of his pad. He's come out dressed up like a mummy, you know, with toilet roll wrapped away around him with a little pair of eyes. And but man, he's had a big beard as well. And I went to me mate and went, "What the fuck is this man doing here?" I don't think he realised how fucking quick toilet paper went on fire. He went, "Bastards!" Lit the toilet paper, but he just went, and he was dancing around me, mate. So one of the lads on there is fucking trying a big boiling water, a flask all over him. He got recommended and got out 10 months early for that. You know what I mean? It's just like, no. In there, you just, you know, like when I first went on there, it goes into the unit, and I remember the screws saying to me, "Look, there's fucking lunatics in here. They're doing 20, 30, 40 years, won't think twice about stabbing you in the neck and stuff like that." And then you have to go in like in the block for observation for 5 to 7 days. Like that, press up, doing it as much as I can. Yeah. And you know, when I walked on the Cat A unit, I was thinking, the first fucking one there, me mate's just going to get lamped. And I heard, "No, then, no bad." And I've looked up, and all my mates were at the top, and I'd looked at the screws, they were all giggling, and I went, "You fucking arsehole." I was next door to the Desi Noonan and there, young Desi. He was a nice kid then. He was all right, like, they're all fucking handfuls, aren't they? And then, obviously, when we were in there, I think there was only 17 of us, and then they nicked a load of Salford lads, you know, for all the robberies and stuff.
Right.
And then next minute was just fucking shocker, yeah.
Well, that's what the Noonans were doing, wasn't it? A lot of armed robberies. And
Yeah,
things
yeah.
Like that.
I think young Desi, though, I think he was in for Grafton.
Right.
You know what I mean? But they were their kids then. So they were like Big Damien and Desi. It was their kids. It was two twins. Two nice kids, to be honest. Look, you meet some characters in jail. You will rarely meet some of the funniest characters in jail. It's just...
Be great being a fly on the wall to see those sort of things that are happening.
That's why it's so popular, like prison dramas and things, because people are fascinated. Like,
but if you
we've never
notice,
been to jail or...
a couple of years ago, it was all about drugs, prison. Now, if you go on like Netflix and stuff, it's all about fucking serial killers, isn't it?
Yeah.
So they keep changing the genres all the time. And like I was like that Jeff Dahmer. Yeah, where for me, him, mate, fuck all that. And his dad wonders why he became like that. You were picking fucking animals up off the road and letting them cut them up.
Is someone
that's like me saying to me, "Sonny, I've got a kilo of coke here, come and show you how to do this." He's going to get out and be a fucking drug dealer.
He had a bottle of acid in his bedroom, didn't he? Like, that's a red flag, isn't it? You know, when you get one around someone's house. I don't know, like, gay people date or not like that, but there was, like, bloodstains on the bed. I don't know if this is real or not, but you just think, oh, that's a bit off, isn't it? How stinks the death.
I think he was drugging people and started.
Yeah, that's what he was
watched
doing.
a bit of it and I thought, no, that's not for me.
Probably know lads who he'd end up drugging.
Yeah.
And be like, "Are you feeling a bit woozy?"
Yeah, fucking hell.
Oh, can I have another one of them? Yeah, tell them all. Like, I'm like, "Will you get the fuck out my house?"
It's like you see some of them now, like serial killers, that just fucking mental. Just people can just chop bodies up and leave it like that.
Society though, as well, isn't it? You were talking about like how do people get out with these different games, and like that. I suppose the criminal world. I'm guessing years ago they were probably a bit more gentlemanly, and it was you've had your time, move on. Whereas now, like you say, you get a kid who's in his teens who'll stab someone, shoot someone.
Yeah, but you got the likes of Mexico and Colombia, mate. They'll skin you alive.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. It's in different worlds. It's just different ways to do it.
But it is. It's getting worse. It's more extreme
in Mexico. Like you say, it's most dangerous.
You know why it is? Because WhatsApp gives you all the videos of what's happening all over the world with stuff. Do you know what I mean? And then other people want to take that on, and other people want to take that on and
be even more and take
like
that.
Now, you know, we didn't have all that as kids, but now the kids these days have got it all, and everyone watches them all.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Some sick, horrible videos go out there, and I'm thinking, why would you fucking want to send that to people?
Yeah, they used to argue about if you could play on Grand Theft Auto when we were kids. I know, like I say, they've got Jeffrey Dahmer on TV. And
I remember buying that for my lad when he was 13, and I've walked in his bedroom, he's playing, and I went, the taxi was shaking. And I went, "What are you doing there?" He went, "Oh, just picked a prostitute up." I went, "Fucking hell, he's fucking 13.
I thought that was a game. To be honest, I used to spend hours crawling around town picking them up.
Did you, yeah? Bet you cost you a fucking fortune.
Yeah, not on the game.
Listen, right, are we right, yeah?
No, that's great, John. I changed
No, I've enjoyed talking to you.
Cheers,
To be honest. See,
yeah, it's
see
been
that
lovely,
stuff,
mate,
you can just sit there and just be normal about life.
Yeah, just have a
Do you know what I
crack.
mean?